depravity basically means it's the doctrine that explains that man is completely and utterly corrupted by sin, not allowing him to be able to choose ultimate good, ultimately step towards God. It doesn't mean that he can't make arbitrarily good human good decisions throughout his life, like not to steal or not to murder. But and I say arbitrarily because in the scheme of the reality of life, meaning this world and beyond, it's arbitrary in that we're limited by time in this world. So we can make arbitrarily good decisions to not sin. But ultimately, what total depravity means is that we can't change our sin nature into a good, righteous nature without Christ. So that's what total depravity means. Um, uh, some would characterize total depravity as meaning that we can't do make any good decisions at all, and that's not. I just wanted to clarify that's not what it means. It just means that we can't change our sin nature without grace. So unconditional election means that before the beginning of time, God, in His sovereignty, has selected a remnant of people to be called to Himself without anything from us. So unconditional in that means that it's not conditional. There's nothing that we can prove to God that we're worth His grace. He just decides in His sovereignty and His will to choose some. That's what unconditional election, and it's not conditional because we can't earn it. There's nothing we can do to earn that favor. What's next? L, limited atonement. Limited atonement is, and the word limited really does it a disservice because it implies some sort of limiting factor on God's part, but that's not what it means. What it means is the atonement of Jesus Christ satisfies the grace and the saving grace for the elect. In other words, it's not limited in its power, it's limited in its scope. So in other words, the elect that God has already predestined before time is saved by Christ dying on the cross. So it doesn't, the Arminian, and what Stephen will talk about later, is that they would say that Jesus, and you can correct me if I misrepresent you, Stephen, but what I've heard from the Arminian perspective is that the death of Christ makes salvation possible for those. What the Calvinists would say